That forehead is just giant. You could probably fit a whole continent on it. But in any case, Asmongold has found the root of all problems. At least in gaming. Seems pretty interesting, so let's check it out.
Hi guys, it's me again, and it's
Hi.
about 7 in the morning, and I figured that I'd record a video before I go to bed. And today the topic we're going to be talking about is mining canary problems in video games. Now, before I explain what the topic is and how it relates to games, I of course have to explain the metaphor. What is
why everyone knows the
Days,
metaphor.
back in the old days, whenever people used to have to work in mines, coal mines, etc., they would go down.
People still have to work in coal mines.
On the mine, and they would bring with them a canary or some form of bird. And this bird, they would have it in a little cage, and whenever the bird died, or the bird started acting weird or crazy, they would know that because the bird's lungs are smaller, the poisonous gases below them would affect the bird negatively before they were able to be affected as humans, because they obviously, people have larger lungs than a bird does. So the bird dies, oh shit, I don't want to go down there.
I really wish Asmongold would just stick to gaming topics sometimes. This is the first time I hear someone explain the canary thing incorrectly. I honestly even don't know how I should go around explaining why is it incorrect, because it has nothing to do with the size of the lungs. The birds don't die because of the size of the lungs. It has nothing to do with the size of the lungs. When you inhale the same amount of toxic gases that are present in the atmosphere. It has nothing to do with the size of the lungs. The thing that kills you is the fact that at some point in time, you have absorbed too much toxic gases in your body through the lungs. But that has nothing to do with the size of the lungs. Honestly, the smaller your lungs, the probably better your chances at survival are. Well, you're gonna die later. I'm pretty sure the birds just the birds just inhale faster and exhale faster. That's kind of it. It has nothing to do with lung capacity. Great start, but now I'm really intrigued.
There's poisonous gases. So how does this relate to video games?
Good question.
This is obviously a premonition. This is obviously an ominous sign. So I think that mining canary problems in video games are whenever a...
I'm starting to think the guy is just sleep deprived. Dude!
Specific change or a specific thing in a video game is basically if you could distill all of the problems down to any one thing, it would probably be this one thing. And I think that the best way for me to do this is to use a couple of examples. Now, one example now, thankfully, is outdated, but the second example, unfortunately, is not. First example I'm going to use is the Diablo 4 change from making the leave instance timer 5 seconds instead of 3 seconds. They increased the timer because of some stupid reasoning, and I viewed this as a mining canary problem. This is a problem that indicates a key, core, massive disconnect between the developers and the players. And
does he just want to... Is he just trying to coin a term now into gaming because he thinks it sounds cool? I don't see the equivalency. The most fascinating part is the fact that this is the first time I hear that someone got the mining canary thing wrong. Admittedly, not a lot of people try to explain it, but come on, logic, dude.
And every once in a while, you'll see a developer make a change that is so out there, so outrageous, so ridiculous, that it just kind of encapsulates the entire animosity that they might have with the community, or the entire disconnect that they have with the community. And I'd actually be curious, guys, after I put this second example, if you have any examples like this in your own games, maybe examples that I haven't thought of.
Okay.
The second example is going to be in Dragonflight, World of Warcraft.
Okay.
And back in the beta, or sorry, not the beta, the pre-expansion patch for the Drakthir, which are going to be the the new race. They had a racial ability where they could fly around and effectively use dragon riding anywhere in the Eastern Kingdoms or anywhere in Kalimdor. And Blizzard thought, in all of their brilliance, they thought that they were going to nerf this and change it. That way, everybody didn't start rolling Drakthir to farm old world dungeons. I'm not kidding. That's actually what their logic was. And it is still nerfed to this day. It was an ability called Soar. And also now with...
Don't Demon Hunters have that?
The new patch, it's been announced that, of course, they're actually going to be allowing everybody to use the dragon riding mounts in the old world. So not only is this change stupid fundamentally, but it's also been completely outdated. So it's one of the things where, and again, like as soon as the developer explains what their perspective is, and
is it me or his sound sounds a little bit funky? It seems a little bit off. You know, it's like surround sound almost.
Why they think this is a problem. Everybody that is watching and that actually plays the video game realizes that they don't. So this is a big problem, and I think that also it's one of the things where, like, there are sometimes...
I mean, Blizzard balancing badly has been a problem for the past 15 years. I would say after the Wrath of the Lich King, Blizzard has not balanced a single thing correctly. The closest they have gotten to is StarCraft, and even that is absolutely just horrible, honestly, at the very highest competitive levels, because you know that certain matchups need to be ended like in the first 20 minutes, or you have no chance of winning because of the late game. So yeah, Blizzard balancing badly and doing stupid things, completely nothing new. Honestly, I would be surprised if they did something smart. But what does this have to do with the canary in a coal mine? I'm completely lost on that. Asmon, please.
Times whenever it will seemingly be like a very small change, like, oh, this is like not really a big deal, like, why does this really matter? And it doesn't really matter, but I think in these mining canary type problems, it indicates...
No, he's continuing to mention that. I was joking. I thought he's just going to stop, but no, he's continuing to go on the mining canary problems. Are the developers trying to kill you? Are they poisoning you? What's the... Why is this a gaming canary mining problem? Can someone please explain? Because I'm completely beyond understanding how is this even close to a mining canary.
A larger disconnect. So, for example, if you're charting a course across the ocean, okay, and you're 1 degree off, by the time you get to the other side of the ocean, you're going to be miles away from where you started, even if you were 1 degree.
That is correct, actually.
And I think this is kind of what happens, is that...
Well, I know, actually, that's also kind of a questionable example, because everyone knows that Dude, okay, no, wait, is he using this example incorrectly? Because the real example is that you need to be extremely precise, because it accumulates over time. If you're 1 degree off already off the start, you know you're not gonna get to the place. The real thing is, like, you know, even being even being like one tenth off a degree is gonna lead to disaster, and you being completely wrong in the wrong direction.
The development of games becomes so disconnected from the player base of games that changes are made and put into a game that I think doesn't really serve anybody, and goes to just show the player base that the developers don't really understand what the core gameplay loop of the game really is.
Yep.
And I think a lot of these types of things happen.
You know what's fascinating about this? He's right, but we actually know that this is not true. We know from experience that there have been a lot of developers who play the game, yet no good changes for... they play the game, they play the games even at high levels, and yet none of the good things are being done, and it makes, like, no sense. But, dude, how are you playing the game that everyone except you sees that this is a problem? How does that happen?
Especially in live service games, and we're talking about, like, obviously I use Diablo 4 and World of Warcraft as an example, but Destiny, PUBG, Fortnite, Valorant, League of Legends, any of these games are all live service games. I think that they become more evident, and the problem really with these live service games and why they have more of these mining canary problems and why it's more common for them to happen is because I do think
I still don't understand what is a... He never... Did I miss it, or am I stupid or something? How did he define what is a mining canary problem?
Live service games, there is a different standard of success whenever you're talking about these types of games. Because these games are not necessarily measured in terms of did the player complete the game, they're measured in how many hours did the player complete the
No game is measured nowadays did the player complete the game.
Hours did it take for the player to complete the game, and also how many times did they spend money on the game, how long did they put into the game, how many hours. Blizzard calls it monthly active user, player retention. Everything is all about keeping you on that hamster wheel as long as possible. And
yeah,
that's
why
I think you see a lot of these changes be put into these games that will artificially increase the amount of time that a game takes in order for it to be finished or for you to achieve a task.
True.
I think that you can contrast this with something like Elden Ring, for example. Elden Ring, there are rare items in Elden Ring. However, a rare item in Elden Ring is not equivalent to a rare item in many, many other games. And not to mention the fact that you can just mod the game and give yourself any item you want.
Yo, he's seriously sleep deprived. I mean, even Asmongold knows what the word contrast means. Contrast this to Elden Ring, but none of the items are equivalent. Get some sleep, get some help, touch grass or something.
Exist, like with mods, like Convergence, etc. The point is that it is not important for the developers of that game, or Tears of the Kingdom for that matter, it is not important for them to make you waste your time, because they've already got your fucking money, number one. So if you play through the game and you beat the game, this doesn't mean that you are no longer interfacing with their battle pass system. You're no longer interfacing with their store system. And this creates a profit incentive for developers to make things take longer than usual, and also creates a profit incentive for developers to make
Got him.
And just in general more difficult to achieve. And I guess, these are all other effectively ways of saying take longer to achieve. So I think...
Also, I still technically agree with what he's saying, but I kind of see no value in what he's saying.
I think that really you see a lot of these mining canary problems with live service games, and I think that's really the reason, is that there is a success metric that is attached to a lot of live service games, especially that are done by larger companies, that is primarily focused around playtime, and it is primarily focused around a metric that is a quantitative value, which is a lot of times kind of a problem, because, I think quantitative... and it is primarily focused around a metric that is a quantitative value, which is a lot of times kind of a problem, because I think quantitative analysis of games is of course very important, and it should be a foundation for making decisions, but without having the creative intuition to understand the qualitative value of each different thing that's added.
Is he saying quantitative metrics or qualifying? I think he just switched from...
For making decisions, but without having the creative intuition to understand the qualitative value of each...
Qualitative value.
Different thing that's added into the game, then...
Okay, so here we have qualitative value.
Analysis of games is of course very important.
Quantitative analysis of games, and then we have...
And it should be a...
Is quantitative analysis of games even a thing? Quantitative analysis of games. Quantitative analysis of games for quantitative analysis of real-time stream. What is examples of quantitative analysis? Calculating the sales revenue of one of your products is, for example, a quantitative analysis. Okay, so this is all useless information? What? Wait, he's completely not thinking of this in this context.
metric that is a quantitative value, which is primarily focused around playtime, and it is primarily focused around a metric that is a quantitative value.
Calculating the sales revenue of one of your products is an example of quantitative analysis. Calculating the wait, so it's a... But he doesn't mean it like that. I have no idea how he means but there's no such thing as quantitative game analysis. Yeah, there's no such thing as quantitative game analysis. No one even uses the word quantitative in almost any industry. If you fucking... This is a thing, by the way. If you use a bunch of cool sounding words, everyone's gonna know you're fake, because all of these cool sounding words in reality don't actually mean anything in business. It's very rarely some kind of fancy sounding word is meaningful when it comes to this stuff. This is insanity.
Which is a lot of times kind of a problem, because, you know, I think quantitative analysis of games is, of course, very important, and it should
quantitative analysis of games. Quantitative analysis of games. Is that a real thing? What a quantitative analysis is? Example of quantitative research analysis. Quantitative games analysis. I have no idea. Is he talking about actual sales? Is he talking about microtransactions made in games? I'm completely down bad lost.
Should be a foundation for making decisions, but without having the creative intuition to understand the qualitative value of each different thing that's added into the game.
Qualitative value of different things that... Okay, he's just absolutely lost in the sauce, boys. I ain't gonna lie.
Not able to really put all the pieces together and understand the full vision of, wow, players really like this system. Well, yeah, no shit, they like the system. It's because you make them do it. And I think that Renown is probably going to turn into one of those things in Season 2 of Diablo 4. I played through a little bit of Season 1. I tried to give the game a little bit more of a second, or, I don't know, what, a 50th chance, something like that. It's like a toxic ex-girlfriend at this point. And anyway, try to, you know, because I felt like the campfire went okay, and so it's like, all right, well, we'll see what happens. But anyway, you know, one thing that I've noticed is that nobody really likes farming Renown. And I don't think that I'll really be playing Season 2 if I have to farm Renown again.
Yeah.
I think that also a lot of
I told you Renown sucks.
Willing to compromise with the developer, and I think this is a bad thing. And the reason why I think that it's a bad thing is that why can't we just have fun all the time? And before you go and say, okay, well, you could just start at level 100 and do all this other stuff.
That's not really necessarily fun.
Renown, right? And so, like, why not just cut that out and let people just play the game without Renown? Like, PoE doesn't have Renown. PoE has other things that are semi-annoying, but not...
Hey, PoE 2 is gonna look more like Diablo 4 than Diablo 4 looks like Diablo 4.
Anywhere near as annoying as Renown. And, you know, Diablo 3, I'm pretty sure didn't have Renown either, so it's not like...
Yeah, but Diablo 3 sucks, though, real bad.
Or to function. But for some reason, Blizzard is dead set on not allowing you to remove it. And I think that if it continues in Season 2, I will probably...
They probably can't track what quests you have finished.
Classify it as one of those mining problems, that it is an indication of the entirety of the disconnect between Blizzard and the player base. That, you know, they value metrics such as time played that you obviously farm a lot of whenever you convince a player that they have to farm Renown, because it's effectively, like, I mean, if you want to be good at the game, you want to have 20 extra Paragon points, obviously. So, you know, it's like 50 extra % damage in some cases, especially if you can hit an extra yellow node. The point is that, of course, obviously a lot of people are going to want to do that, and then you pump up those playtime numbers by artificially increasing the amount of time that they would interface with the game by creating pointless hurdles for them to jump.
That's a nice... That's a nice... Dude, nice. That's a nice bet, but that's not probably true. Because the reality is, people are just gonna not do it. You know, people are not gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna play Diablo 4 now for 3 hours today. Oh wait, no, now I have to play it for 3.5 because I need to do the things to get my renown. No, they're not doing that. No one's doing that. You know, you're playing Diablo, you're farming renown. That's how it is. You're not playing Diablo and then you're not adding like 1 hour to your day extra to farm the renown. They don't get extra hours by doing this. Blizzard, my honest thoughts on this is Blizzard was just so absolutely desperate to create goals that they did not want to allow you to keep the progression. Okay, that's my honest opinion. They artificially wanted to give you extra goals because for this. Because they have nothing otherwise, okay? There are no goals currently to strive in the game. And, you know, redoing the renown sucks, but at least it's a goal that takes a long time to do.
Jump over. And I think that also, you know, players are more than willing to go through, I think, some level of annoyance. And I think that in general, as a community, I don't think that we should really do that as much. And it's not about like, hey fellas, you're getting older, right? This isn't a fucking, you know, erectile dysfunction ad. But the truth is that a lot of people don't want to invest, you know, 20 extra. They don't want to have a mind.
Man, no one talks about erectile dysfunction. That's, by the way, a serious problem. The statistics on that is, by the way, wild. It's way bigger than you could imagine. I think it starts around 30, which I will soon be. So, you know, bad luck of the dice, like 1 in 3. Whoop boy, I don't want to see those ads.
Minus 20 on the hours of their life, just because a video game has a pointless hoop for you to jump through in order to inflate metrics for a shareholder report. And I think the truth is that if enough players say no, then the company will say yes, and they'll do what the players want. And that's just the beauty of...
I mean, have you heard about World of Warcraft, the Shadowlands expansion? Yeah. Yeah. I thought so.
A free market, and I really hope more people understand that, and I hope more people stop compromising with allowing their time to be wasted with useless mechanics and useless design. And I think
absolutely not.
What the mining canary problem is with the video game, and being able to identify what it is.
I still have no idea what's the mining canary video game problem. Please, Asmon, please get some sleep. You need it. You're completely incoherent.
And I think especially the best types of problems like this are the ones that are nerfs to things that nobody cares about, or changes to things that just simply, like, you know, a crafting time of something is increased by like a tremendous amount and it's a single player game or something like that. Those types of things are very good indicators of where the developer's mind is at, and oftentimes it's not in the same place as the player. It's been an idea that I've thought about a lot recently, and I've been seeing it a lot more in games, and I've always kind of had like an idea of this, but I never really, you know, came up with a term for it. So I figured I'd...
That's a great term, Asmon. I still have no idea what it means, but that's great. That's great, buddy.
Talk about it with you guys, see kind of how other people have to think about it, what you guys think, examples and games that you've played, and, you know, am I the only one who's crazy here, or has,
nope.
You know, has this...
Nope. You also made me crazy. It's true. Now we can be crazy together. But you suck my dick first, okay?
It's been a thing for quite a while, and I think it's actually quite insightful whenever you kind of identify it as an idea and then look at things through that lens. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you guys and talk about it, have a little conversation.
Do you think he just literally collapsed after doing this video because of sleep deprivation? Kind of feels like it.
And yeah, anyway, I'd be curious to hear other people's examples and see if it's as much of a common thing in other games as it is seemingly in Blizzard games. So that's about it. Thanks for watching.
Well, a lot of developers are bad. Blizzard just takes the cake in so many situations. Like, Blizzard probably is the worst when it comes to balancing shit. I think that's true. It's like, no other game struggles with balance as much as Blizzard does. Like, World of Warcraft Arena has not been even remotely close to being balanced from vanilla. when it was not even a thing, okay? And when it became a thing, it was never balanced. Shit's just wild. Anyway, this was Quizzer Said 7. This was an experience, you should call it. I need to figure out what's wrong, because there should not be any mosquito boys in here. But one bit me, and you know, the moment one mosquito bites you, you instantaneously start to itch all over because the paranoia sets in. And then I got one bad boy there. Well, you saw it. You saw the hunt. So, it is what it is. Anyway, this was Quizzer Said 7. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.